Okay, this video is about Donna J. Bean and bringing PCOS to the forefront, as September is PCOS Awareness Month. That is why I wear this teal ribbon, which my challenge is not going to be any ice bucket challenge, but to bring awareness to PCOS. And these little ribbons, I'm going to make these little ribbons and I will be selling them for $1 a piece. Every dollar will be sent in to PCOS awareness. That way I can make sure that PCOS is brought to the forefront. That's my way of bringing PCOS. I think every woman who has PCOS should be able to think of a way to get money going for PCOS, especially during the month of September, to bring it to the forefront. I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome at the age of 24. I had been through 14 different doctors. I had experienced some irregular periods and some problems with discomfort, and diabetes runs in our family, so every so often I was freaking out because of the weight gain that I was experiencing, especially when I was with my ex. If we got into a fight, I didn't talk things out with him. I ran to food. And it's so easy to use that as a crutch. But when you don't watch what you eat, you're only hurting yourself, no matter if you have PCOS or not. But the reason I want to bring PCOS to the forefront, like I said, it's the PCOS Awareness Month in September. And I know the PCOS awareness out there is brought to the forefront right now, and that's very important. I have this educational book right here. It's called PCOS Health and Nutrition Guide, and I would like to give you a definition before I get into too much of my history. Polycystic ovarian syndrome. Do I have it? Well, it's also known as the most common hormone condition among women. Between 2% and 18% of all women in North America have PCOS, but these percentages may be understated because women are not aware that they do have PCOS. It's been known to be a woman's condition, involved very hard to understand. Men, I guess, always would say that's part of the women thing. But in all seriousness, approximately 50% of women with PCOS will clinically evident diabetes or prediabetes, while 40% will develop high blood pressure. The risk of ovarian and endometrial cancer is 3 times as high in women with PCOS versus the women without PCOS. So this condition really needs to be brought about and taken seriously. The dietary predisposition occurs frequently developed countries and is less common in regions with cultures without access to interest in refined sugar and processed grains and junk food. Although some components of the disorder appear to be hereditary, diet and lifestyle are instrumental in triggering the genetic predisposition of PCOS. Of course, poly means many, more than one. Cystic refers to the tissue growth that contains cysts. It's a little hard for me to talk because this hits so close to home for me because I have it. And for those friends of mine who can eat anything and not worry about gaining weight, or who want to have a child and don't have to worry about what it means to watch your weight to have that baby. It's just something that you pray that you don't ever have to experience firsthand, but when you do, you want to fight until this cannot happen to any other woman out there. Women born with 2 ovaries, low pelvis on either side of the uterus, connected to the uterus are fallopian tubes, of course, is the ovarian part. They call it a syndrome coming together, basically a disease diagnosis based on a variety of symptoms. It is a hormonal imbalance, a hormonal abnormality. Like I said, the basic thing to me was I had been through 14 different doctors, traveled outside of our local area, went to the best, or so I thought, in Champaign, who actually had to work on my mom in order to have me. And we were 2 days away from having a hysterectomy because I believed in that doctor. And he didn't know what PCOS was. But I knew in my heart of hearts I wanted to have a family. At that time, I went and met another doctor, and that doctor not only impressed me with her interest, the way she walked into the room, but the way she handled my case. When she entered that room, my file was this thick, from all the doctors not being able to figure out why the irregular periods. Why is she so moody? Why is she sometimes depressed? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? And the this and that's are all miniature hormonal imbalances that is part of PCOS. But when she walked in that room, she took that file. She didn't shake my hand. She didn't introduce herself. She walked over to the trash can, opened the lid with her foot, and said, "This is what I think of what you've already learned about what you have." And she threw away my file. And I immediately, my eyes went big, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to die. But she sat down and she looked at me and she goes, "You have a condition called PCOS." I said, "Am I going to die?" Again, there's that young, I don't know what you're talking about inexperience in there. And she said, "No, you're not going to die. However, what this means is I want to perform a laparoscope. I want to go in because I believe you have cysts on your ovaries and inside your ovaries. And I want to possibly wedge one side so that you have a working, functioning ovary." So this is why I struggle with my weight, because it is a hormonal imbalance. Everything that I eat adds up, just like everything you guys eat adds up. However, with the imbalance part, it's not a normal functioning metabolism, if you will. So it has brought me to the point of, basically she told me, "Look, we'll go in and I'll do this as strictly exploratory, but I have to have the consent of, if I find anything, I can fix it." And I looked at her and I said, "I don't want a hysterectomy. I want my own kids." The doctor said, "You'll have your own kids. I'll see to that. But you got to have faith in me." And of course, I was worried because I had been hearing things, like we all hear things about people, and we are, especially me being so young, I was scared. I said, "Well, I don't want to go under the knife and, not be able to have my own kids." And she goes, "You got to have faith in me if you want me to go in there and do this." And I looked at her and I said, "I want my own kids." She goes, "I'll do my very best. And I can guarantee you, I can't make any promises, but if you have faith in me and you stick to your diet and you do what I tell you, it'll all work out." At that time, we went in, she did the surgery, and I can remember waking up and the very first thing I seen was pictures of my ovary with these little round dime-size dime-size cysts. I didn't know what it was, and I was freaked out. I thought I had passed on to the other side. And I said, "Oh my goodness, I'm dead." And the nurse said, no, but that could be arranged. I wouldn't suggest trying to sit up right now. And I looked at her and I said, what are you talking about? And she goes, you made it. The doctor will be in soon to tell you what went on. The doctor walked in. God bless her soul. And they removed 8 cysts on each side of each ovary. And that was just the outside. They removed 8 cysts on the inside of each ovary. On my right side, I am wedged, meaning I have really one working side ovary, if that's what it means to me. Maybe that's not what it means to anybody else, but that's what it means to me. And I'm blessed because my periods are regular, and I am blessed to have met that doctor. Can you imagine just 2 days later, if I would have went with the doctor who had helped my mother all those years ago to have me, I would have had a hysterectomy and no chance at having my own children. I pray that I am blessed with children. I said, the Lord walked with me through that struggle. My mother was there to see that I had went from doctor to doctor to doctor. And when it came to the last doctor, she didn't really believe in her as much as I did. I mean, I think she did, but just when it came right down to it, the other doctor had did her surgery, so I can't really say, she probably was full-fledged go ahead until after it was done and she saw the results. And when I was with my ex, it got out of hand with my weight because I took it out on me every time we had a fight. And I have made a promise to myself, the next relationship I get into, no matter good, bad, or ugly, we're going to talk things out, A. And B, I'm not going to hold my emotions in and take it out on myself. And I know what's important. I know why I had all this surgery. I know why I had the belly button surgery and everything. And yes, I'm self-conscious when it comes to my clothing. Yes, I may wear old-fashioned clothing. But I worry about, okay, am I looking fat in this? Is this part hanging out here? But what really matters the most is my future and how I deal with this. Yes, there's days where I have my down moments. When I'm working out, because my doctor has now made it mandatory that I am working out every night, 1 hour, no questions asked, and I think that's the best thing he could do for me, because I had gotten to a point, really, where I was starting to give up. And you don't want to do that. Because that starts adding the weight right back on. Trust me. I don't drink sodas. I don't drink beer or anything like that. Basically water and tea, unsweet. With it being an insulin resistant, you really have to be careful because the older you get closer to that type 2 diabetes. My great-grandma was type 2 diabetes. And what scares me is great-grandma Kane, I'll just say her name, her last child, they told her, you can go ahead and eat anything you crave. Well, she craved honey. Well, she carried a child up until term, gave birth to a stillborn baby. Now, it's not been proven that it was PCOS or diabetic that caused this problem. However, they say it's hereditary. My mother had a cyst the size of a grapefruit, and they had to rebuild her, but yet every doctor we went to kept saying, well, no, it's just Donna being an imbalance, but we don't know where the imbalance is coming in at. Finally, with this last doctor, after 14 different doctors, I have basically bet it all with her. And she has my total faith and confidence. I really do pray and I hope that we find a cure for this PCOS, that no other young woman has to worry about infertility problems, maybe never having a chance at having a child. And furthermore, we bring this to the forefront. Now, we don't need to do that by dumping bottles of water on our head or ice buckets of water on our head, but simply talking about it, making it well known, and doing something to promote the cure and the finding of what causes this imbalance, what causes us to possibly be risk for diabetes or high blood pressure. At one point, I was on high blood pressure pills. When I was with my ex, I was up to, I want to say, 150 milligrams in high blood pressure pills. And when that breakup happened, the best thing that happened for me is what I did to myself was I took myself, okay, I'm going to go get off these pills and I'm going to do it the right way. And I exercised, I dieted right, and everything came into play. Now I have put a little bit of weight back on, but the doctor's being real strict with me and saying, you know what, you need to watch your P's and Q's, youngin', because you have goals in life. And if you have a doctor that cares and is educated in this right here, that's all that matters. You don't need somebody that's going to sit there and tell you, well, you've got maybe endometriosis or you have diabetes. It's a silent condition that it's not being talked about nearly enough. Insulin resistance, it leads to diabetes. I mean, this is just something I'm so passionate about. And I really do pray that we bring it to the forefront, find a cure for it. There's so many women out there struggling. I'm not alone. I know I'm not. And this is just my way of hopefully helping to find a cure. These are $1. I'm selling them. If you're interested, come see me. And let's put an end to PCOS. Thank you.